I'm going to show you how to make an origami paper crane like this one out of any square piece of paper. To begin with, it's going to be helpful for your paper to have different colors on each side. My paper is yellow on this side and white on the other side, and that's typical with most origami paper. You can make a square out of any sheet of paper, and if your paper is white on both sides or one color on both sides, you could add some crayon to one side to make the two sides look different. That helps us to follow the instructions when we're making an origami model. So throughout the video today, you might see me show you another piece of paper in a different color that shows the step completed. For example, this is after we do step 1. We're going to have a folded rectangle. Let's start together with some careful folding. I'd like you to flip your paper over with your color side down and your white side up. And we want to start by really practicing good folding techniques. So I want you to remember to use your table as another set of hands and always be pressing down on the table. Always be using both of your hands. And here you see my thumbs are underneath the paper, but my fingers are on top. So I'm going to roll the paper. I don't want to smush or crease it yet. And I'm going to take a moment to get my corners lined up and my edges lined up exactly the way I'd like them to be. Put a finger on top. And I'm bringing my thumbs down the center to make a nice crease just in the center. And then I can let go. I'm going to slowly go out to the sides. When I'm folding paper, I always start my crease in the middle of the paper and go outward to help control the fold. If I've gone to the time and trouble to get everything lined up and I fold in one direction, oftentimes that will cause the corners to go out of shape. So there's step 1. And we're going to repeat this. We're going to open up our paper, smooth it out, and we're going to turn it one time. I'm turning to the right. We call that 90 degrees. So now my line is going up and down, and we're going to repeat what we just did. Smooth it out so it's easy to work with. Thumbs underneath, fingers on top, pressing against the table. Roll and line up your corners. Nice and straight. And when you've got it straight, kind of go toward the middle with all your fingers. I'm pressing down on the table. I'm going to come down the middle and then out to the two sides. All right, if we open it up, now we see 4 little squares. Now it's time to flip it over. Okay, so we're going to put the color side facing us like a diamond. All right, and we're going to make a triangle out of this by folding the bottom up to the top. Again, take your time. Make sure things are lined up before you start folding. Now that you have some creases in your paper, it gets more and more important that you make sure you're taking time to line things up and do them correctly. So origami is a mechanical folding process that's going to give you all different kinds of forms. This one is the crane. And when I pull my crane apart, you can see that its back will widen and I can bend the wings, and I can actually kind of pull on these sometimes to make things flap. So there's a lot of folds and hinges here. So we want to be sure that we are taking the time we need to make this model work. Now, like we did before, we're going to open up our paper, smooth it out, and turn it 90 degrees. So now my folded line is going vertically down the middle, up and down. And we're going to do the same thing. Smooth out your folds. Roll your paper bottom to top. Everything lined up. Crease the middle. And now you have some folds here to help you. Find the middle and go out slowly. Don't rush your origami. That's when things get crooked, and later on that can catch up with you and make it unsuccessful or unsatisfying. Now the next step is pretty fun to see happen. If we flip it over, we've got this mountain happening on the white side, and we're going to just poke it and turn it inside out. There are a couple steps you're going to see during this origami model of the crane where we turn something inside out. So just like that, all we had to do was poke it. So now the color part is kind of poking downward and my white part is up like a bowl. And these two little ridges that are pointing up are called mountains. The ones that go down are called valleys. I'm going to take these two mountains that are pointing up and I'm going to make them touch each other, and then I'm going to grab them in the center with these fingers. Okay, so I've got these little pockets here, and now I'm going to just kind of press against the table gently and loosely form it back into a square or diamond. Now I want to go up here to the part where everything is connected. This is a really important thing for you to notice now. I'm going to just pinch it here to hold it together. One side of our origami is open and this other side is closed. This is going to be very important to us as we go on. So now very gently, I want you to lay it on the table, get everything lined up, and then rub the folded edges so it stays in place. Okay, let's find that open part. We need to turn this open part around so it's down here by our belly. Okay, the closed part here at the top is pointing away from us, and here we have these little flaps. We're going to do a lot with those, and I'm just going to make an extra little crease so you guys can see the shadow of that. You see that little fold there in the middle? That's very important. Alrighty, now we're going to take just the top layer of paper on these two sides, and we're going to make this side look like a kite. I'd like to show you what that will look like when we're done. So here's my example in blue. Alright, so we're going to be folding just the top layer to make the sides straight like a kite shape. Okay, so I'm going to show you how to get that into this shape. Now this is where we're going to start using our fingernails a little bit, and you don't need long fingernails. Mine are not long, they're very, very short. So I'm going to start on my left side here, leave this paper on the table, grab the top layer. I'm going to kind of pinch the top left side and pinch the bottom left side, and I'm going to just roll it over my fingertip here, and I want to make sure that this rolls up to the line in the middle but does not cross over it. And then I'm pushing it down with my thumbs, and I'm going to take my fingertips out, but I'm not going to smush this just yet. I'm checking it. I'm going to smush only the middle here, and if I like it, I'm going to go up and down to crease it the rest of the way. Take your time. All right, so now we have folded this one half of the kite. All right, so it's just the top layer of paper that we folded. We want to always use two hands. And now we're going to repeat that on the right side. So we're going to get our fingers up here on the right side and down on the left. Thumbs are underneath, fingers on top, and we're going to kind of flip the paper over. And down here at the bottom, I'm kind of giving it a little pull with my fingernail inside just to make that come to a point, going right up to the line. I'm going to press and crease. All right, so now we have the kite shape on the top and these wings sticking out in the back. Alrighty, so for our next fold, it's one of many times that we're going to fold something and unfold it in origami. A lot of times we are just folding something to make a bend in the paper so the paper will be flexible for us later. So here, this triangle at the top, and you see my fingers are behind it here. Here's how I'm holding it. I'm going to push it over my fingers and just roll it back, and I want it to stop right here where the top of my kite shape wings are. I'm just going to give it a little squeeze like that. Looks kind of like a Superman shield. But right away, I'm going to put it right back where it was. Now it's got a little crease in it. You can see it on the other side. Right? It can go both directions. So we just put a crease in it. We need that crease later on. That's going to help when we build our wings. So this is going to actually be the back of our crane. I'm going to show you the finished crane and where that shape's going to come out. That shape's going to end up right here. and so we're putting a bend in down at the bottom part of it. Alrighty, we need to repeat what we did on the front to the back. So each time we're repeating it on the opposite side, we want to be sure that we are flipping our paper like turning a page in a book, like this. Alright, our closed area is at the top, our open is at the bottom, and we're going to put our fingers at the top side and the bottom side on the left. We're going to roll over our fingertips and line it up in the middle. Get it nice and straight. Push the middle and go out to make your crease. Repeat that on the right side. Thumbs underneath, fingers on top. Roll. Try not to lift it off the table. Keep it straight. Take your time. I'm going to press the middle and go up and down, or down and up. All right, and you see the kite shape again. Okay. So now the next thing we're going to do is to unfold some of what we folded. So again, there's a lot of folding and unfolding, and we're going to end up with a long diamond shape like this, but that triangle you see here is going to stay on the table. So here's what we've got right there, okay? And in the next step, we're going to be opening this up, and it's going to give us this long diamond, but we're going to have to take these two sides and turn the fold inside out for it to get like this. Right now, it's in a different position. So we're going to make sure that that triangle stays flat. So let's open our little wings or doors here. Okay, and you have that crease there. You have your two wings here. All right, so what we're going to do is keep the top triangle on the table, and we want to get our finger under one sheet of paper, just one. Okay, now I'm going to keep holding this down here so that when I put my fingers inside and kind of stand it up, it doesn't go past that triangle, and you'll see that stays on the table. Now, this fold here needs to be turned inside out, and so does this one. These two are just fine. So I'm going to pick it up so you can see it better. So here's the fold, and I'm just going to gently kind of pinch it and make it go the opposite direction. Just fold it right on itself to the inside, and then do that over here. So this is one of those times when you can pick it up off the table to get it in your fingers the way you need to. Make sure you're staying on the same line all the way up and down that fold. Okay, and now you can see that diamond shape coming together. Now I need to put it on the table. All right, hold that triangle back there down, and we're just going to kind of give this a gentle push. Look at that. There's your big tall diamond. There. Okay, so our triangle's in the back, and that all happened because we turned these two folds inside out. And again, turn it over like a page in a book, and we're going to repeat on the other side. There's our triangle. We're going to open these two little doors, pick up one sheet of paper. Now I'm going to hold my hand here on the triangle, and I'm going to push my fingers to the very back where I'm holding the triangle down, and I'm going to stand this up. Now I've got to use my fingers to turn these folds inside out, and they'll turn in quite easily on themselves. They like to keep folding where they've been folded in whatever direction you take them. So I'm picking it up again in my hands to do this one. Be gentle with it. Don't smush too hard. You don't need to. And if you are gentle and you discover something isn't going right, it's easy to undo and make it go in the correct direction. Now you might notice here you can kind of see a little more white paper on this side than we did on that side. That's okay. That's okay. As long as they're not overlapping. Overlapping starts to give you more trouble, but you've been super careful so far. Now I want you to take a look at your origami here and notice this important thing with the crane. Down here, your two long skinny triangles at the bottom of this diamond are separated like little legs. Do, 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 it's dancing for you. At the top, it's one solid piece. That is a really important thing to notice. So these are going to become your crane's wings. This is your crane's back. All right, and then these are going to become later on the head and the tail, but we've got a couple more folds to do. We can only make the rest of this work though if the pieces that are separate are down here at the bottom. Okay, the next step is going to be to fold these to be a little thinner here and here. Let me show you how that's going to look on the first part. So we're going to be folding in here and here. All right, and that's the back, and then we're going to repeat it again. So we want to get under just one layer of paper, and we're going to get our fingers in there. We're going to pinch and roll, pull nice and straight along the center line without going over it. Press it down. I keep my fingers pretty far apart because that makes this nice and straight. I'm going to push in the middle and crease it out. And I'm going to move to the right side and repeat that. One hand's down below, one hand's up above. Thumbs underneath, fingers on top, roll it over, press it down in position. I'm going to crease the middle and go up, down here, my fingernails meeting each other to make it nice and pointy. Okay, now we just need to repeat that on the other side. So again, turn a page in a book. There we go. Check to make sure that you have your separate pieces at the bottom, your solid pieces at the top. Okay, so now we need to do this skinny fold on the other side. Fingers inside, thumbs under, just roll it, get it nice and straight. You're just repeating what you did on the other side. All right, left side, and then repeat it on the right side. And down here, I want to show you, I'm getting a crooked piece or a kink. And so this is where your fingernails can really help. Just run your fingernail inside something like that if you like. Okay? It doesn't have to be perfect, by the way. All right? Hope you know that. Okay, we're in really good shape now. We're almost done. So you can see your wings, you can see the back, and now this is going to be the head and the tail. And it doesn't matter which one is which. You'll decide which is the head and which is the tail. They are exactly the same right now. So I want you to look at this line that you see here, this angle here and here, and we're going to grab one of these little legs and we're going to flip it up and out. I'm pinching this kind of hard so it stays shut. And I'm going to make the angle here match that. And then I'm just going to give it a hard squeeze, and this is another time when we're going to unfold what we did. So I'm giving it a squeeze, and we're going to undo that in a second, but now we want to do it on this side too. Okay. Do it exactly the same way over here, going the other way. It's getting kind of thick right there. Do you see it wants to get stuck? So I'm just going to pinch it, make it go. And you got to force it into place now. Okay, it's kind of like a fancy hat. Now we have to do a little inside out magic. And it's really cool how this turns into the neck of your crane. So we're going to be flipping those inside out and getting them into the middle so they'll stay in place like this step. This is the step we're about to do right here. So you can see that we've turned it inside out right here. Okay, I'm going to walk you through this. Let's do just one side at a time. It's exactly the same both times. Okay, so we're going to get nice and close for you to see. So I'm going to pull this down. We're going to use that crease. That's our hinge. I'm going to go between the wings. I'm going to open it up. You see that little arrow pointing up? Okay, now this little valley, remember we call the ones going down valleys? We're going to put our thumbs in there and we're going to push it up to make it a mountain. So we're just going to turn this long skinny piece inside out, and you're just going to work it with your fingers. Okay, I'm pulling the sides of the, so I'm going to make this the neck, I think. Pull the sides down, And this is one of those times when you're definitely going to have to work off the table because now you're sculpting, right? Okay, there you go. It's turned inside out now. Right? I'm going to show you again with that side. It's exactly the same on both sides. So if you're struggling at all, just do it with me here. Okay, so I'm looking at the other end. I'm going to unfold. I'm going to bend that back down. I'm going to open up between the wings. We see that triangle. Now I'm going to take my thumb, and instead of a valley, I'm going to make a mountain. So I'm going to push it up, just massage it with my thumb a couple times, and kind of pinch the sides. Now make that into a mountain, and you're just going to tuck everything in here, okay? Just force it together. If you have any overlapping, just push it in there, tuck it in, smush it, and make that little mountain go up. And you can see it's going to just pull together. There. All right, well now we just have to decide which one's going to be the head. This one's so nice and straight. I'm going to leave it as the tail, and this one's got a little bend in it already. So I'm going to make this the head. So now the head is going to tuck inside too. So you're going to go out here to the end, and you're just going to make it bend down. And then I'm going to take my fingernails and just smush it inside the neck. We're going to pull it back out in a second. And tuck it inside its own neck. Give it a little smush. And then grab the beak and pull it out where you want it to be. Now at this point you can kind of shape this, right, to make it look right for you. That's a teeny tiny piece of paper. There you go. And guess what? You have completed your origami crane. If you grab the wings, you can gently pull them outward, and you can kind of curl them, and that is it. I hope you've enjoyed making an origami crane and make many, many, many more.